Hello and welcome to the channel. Please consider subscribing, liking, and commenting on this video. Hit the little bell icon. We can keep you up to date. In this video, I'm going to talk about looking for a van and some of the reasons that I'm doing that even though I have an RV. My friends over at Little House on the Road had a difficulty with their pop-up camper. They were in the woods camping, and they left their camper, went to the store, came back 3 hours later to find that their pop-up camper was burned to the ground, and it is suspected that it was an arson event. So they unhitched their truck, drove away, and came back and found nothing, which put them in a place where they had to scramble to build a new camper, and they wound up building a truck camper on the back of their pickup truck to replace the pop-up, which got me thinking, what happens if something happens to my RV in a similar situation? Now, I have a Ram 1500 quad cab, four-wheel drive. I'd like to go and explore some of the back country of America. I'll be disconnecting or unhitching my trailer, leaving it in place. The thought occurred to me that I could be in the same situation as Little House on the Road. That led me to reconsider my tow vehicle. My concern about a van in the first place was that I was nervous about not having four-wheel drive, even on sandy roads. Well, I've learned a few things about four-wheel drive. In looking at my van, it became very important to consider how to configure the vehicle so that I had the best traction possible to avoid getting stuck. What I found out was that in GM products, which would be the Chevy Express or the GMC Savannah, both of those are available with an option called a G80 locking rear differential. If you get on uneven ground and one wheel wants to spin, it will transfer traction to the other wheel. I don't need to talk about this or demonstrate this, but if you're interested at all, look at some of the videos that are out there. There's several great demonstrations, all kinds of videos that show the G80 locking differential in action. And what I found through my research, though, is that in some cases, and that would be where the loose traction is all on one side of the vehicle, that a locking differential is actually better than four-wheel drive. So for that reason, I looked into the locking differential and found out that in a Savannah van or a Chevy Express van, that G80 option costs $325. It's an automatic device that kicks in when you need it and kicks out when you don't need it. You don't have to press a button. You don't have to activate anything. It's there when you need it. It's intended for low speed and gives you superb traction when you need to get out of a situation where you have one wheel sliding or slipping and the other not. What generally happens if you have one wheel that slides is 100% of the energy goes to the wheel that you don't want it to, the one that's hanging in the air. So you wind up not having any traction and you wind up being stuck. Because of that, I eliminated all of the other possible vans from my consideration. ProMaster's front wheel drive, but to my knowledge, it's not available with a locking differential. The Ford's locking differential is a push button. So based on resale value and having this locking differential, I started to look at Savannah's and Chevy Express. Because I'm going to use it for towing, there's a couple other options that I wanted to consider. So in addition to the G80 locking differential, I wanted a transmission cooler and an engine oil cooler. On any GMC Savannah and every Chevy Express, inside the glove compartment or on the passenger side door near the latch, there's a service parts identification tag which lists all of the options. Those are called RPO codes, And the RPO code lists are available online. Google search for RPO codes for GMC Savannah or RPO codes for Chevy Express. So the engine oil cooler RPO code is a KC4, and the transmission cooler is a V14 RPO code, and in addition to the locking differential, which is the G80 RPO code. So if you're looking for a van to tow and to take off-road, I strongly recommend the G80 locking differential. I strongly recommend a transmission cooler and an engine oil cooler, especially if you're towing or if you're just taking a van into the desert. Those extra cooling capacities will only serve you well and make your vehicle last longer. And they're not expensive. I've searched for 3 weeks and made 34 phone calls in the attempt to locate those 3 options in a fleet vehicle. And the problem is the fleet vehicles don't buy that G80 option because they're on dry pavement most of the time. Even in environments where they're in snow, it makes no sense not to have the G80 locking differential. And once you see the videos on how they work, I think you'd be convinced, as I was, that that's an essential thing to have, given it could save your life for $325. Problem is they're not bought on fleet vehicles, so they're a little bit difficult to find in the used market, especially a late model used market, which is what I would look for. So I called all around trying to find these options, and it was pretty difficult. I wound up locating one vehicle that I have to drive 80 miles that I'm going to check out. I'm going to take a look at it on Tuesday. This is currently, 5/26. I'm going to check it out on 5/29, 2018. And it's a 2017 Chevy Express that has all 3 of those options that I wanted. I just need to add a trailer hitch, which is pretty easy to do. I don't know if you know about the Express, but the trailer hitch is a bolt-on thing, and it takes 20 minutes to install, so it's a piece of cake. So I'm going to take a look at it and see. I may be swapping out my tow vehicle and then building it out with a rudimentary van build to give me some flexibility in the backcountry and still be able to tow my RV. So there you have it. So thanks for watching. And again, be sure to subscribe, and I'll try to keep you up to date. Thanks so much.